Hi guys, thanks for joining me for another episode of Cooking in Lipstick. I'm your girl Carlene, and today in the kitchen we will be making brown sugar spice pork chops. You heard. They're easy to prepare, cooked in the oven so they're much healthier for you, doesn't take very long at all, and taste delish. So let's get started. Okay guys, so here are the ingredients that you're going to need to make our brown sugar spice yummy pork chops. First of all, obviously, the star of the show, pork chops. I've got about 6 pork chops in here, all washed, ready to go. And the trick with pork chops is you always want to leave a little bit of fat on your pork chops. You don't want to trim it all off when you're actually cooking it because it'll be a little bit too lean, it gets dry very quickly. So by leaving some of the fat on there and cooking it that way, it makes it pretty juicy in the end. Over here, we have very simple ingredients actually. So the starter is going to be onion salt, and of course onion salt is regular salt with the flavor of onion. So you do have to treat it and respect it just like you do when you're seasoning with regular salt. So that is our salty. Our sweet is going to be brown sugar. And this is about 6 tablespoons of brown sugar that I took out and put into our cup here. And over here we have our savory or our hot. So basically this is what you will find in the international aisle of your grocery store. It is chili garlic sauce from Vietnam. Very spicy, but also has lots and lots of flavor in there, lots of chunks of really good things. So that's definitely going to be for the heat in our meal. And back here we have about a cup and a little bit of warm boiled water. And what we're going to do with that is actually use all of these things with our water to marinate our lovely pork chops. So let's get it poppin'. Alright, so let's get started on starting our marinade for our pork chops. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our sugar and just pour it into our bowl. Get that all in there. I'm just going to break it all up. Make sure that they're fine. You can actually use your hand because sometimes brown sugar is clumpy. So we want to get our hands in there maybe and just kind of break it all up, make it more smooth and sugary. And after that, we're going to add our onion salt. Now the onion salt, like I said, you have to definitely treat it like you would treat regular salt, okay, because it is potent. So we're just going to take a pinch and we're going to put it in, just a pinch. And dun da da! Chili garlic sauce. So like I mentioned, this is found in your international aisle under the Vietnamese food. And if you look in there, you'll see all the chili flecks and all the pepper seeds. Really, really hot, really, really spicy, but has a lot of really nice flavor. So with this, not everybody loves a lot of spice. I, on the other hand, we eat a lot of spicy things. So I'm going to take a whole tablespoon, and that's what we're going to put in there. Actually, I might just add a little bit more. Add a little bit more. Definitely has some spice to it, okay guys? So if you're not one to really have a lot of spice, make sure that you're managing what it is that you're putting in there, or the amount of hotness that you're putting in there, the amount of heat. So that being done, we are now going to add our water. And the water is warm. I boiled it in the kettle, and now I'm just going to add it a little bit at a time because it's actually going to become quite pasty. So we're going to add it here. I'll tilt it up so you can see, and I'm just going to add it a little bit at a time. And I'm going to take my whisk, and I'm just going to mix it all together. And you can see all those beautiful chili flakes. See the color that it's turning into because of the beautiful chili flakes and the sugar that we've added together. And we want it to be a good marinade, really, for the pork chops. I'm going to mix that all together, make sure that everything is mixed well. And I'm just going to stick my finger in and taste it. Oh yeah. I taste the sugar, I taste the sweetness, I taste the saltiness a little bit, and I also definitely taste the pepper, or the heat, shall we say. So we'll mix that up. It's looking good. I'm actually going to add just a tiny little bit more salt. So we'll get another pinch of salt, and we'll add that in, mix it all up. I'm going to have another little taste with my pinky. Oh, that tastes really, really good. So now that we've done that, we are going to move over to actually getting our marinade onto our pork chops. All right, so now we have our pork chops here. What I've done is sprinkled a little bit of olive oil on the cookie sheet, and I have laid out all the pork chops on it. And basically, what we're going to do now is just take a little ladle, and we're going to make sure that all of our pork chops are nicely marinated. We're going to get it all on there. Oh yeah, yeah. This is looking so good. Nice little glaze. So what we're going to do, now that we have all of them covered, we still have some glaze left in here. We're going to put these pork chops in for about 15 minutes. Let them cook. I've been warming up my oven, and I also have it turned on convection, so that cooks a little bit faster. So I'm going to put them in the oven. We're going to give it about 15 minutes. We're going to pull it out, flip them over, marinate the other side, put them back in for about 15 minutes, and we'll be ready to go. And so what you're looking at here is the finished product for our pork chops. They're looking great. I did have to make a second batch of marinade just because some of the pork chops are quite large and not even sized, but that's fine. I made a little bit more of the marinade and I did put it on, and right now the pork chops are fully cooked. They still are very tender, so they're not dry. And like I said, it's always good to leave a little bit of fat on it when you are cooking it. Of course, when you're going to eat it, you can slice the fat off and not eat that part of it, but leaving a little bit of fat on it definitely does help to keep the moisture and the juiciness in the pork chops as they're being cooked. So here we have our brown sugar spice pork chops, all finished, nicely cooked, plated, and ready to go. Can't wait to taste them. They look fantastic, they smell fantastic, and I can't wait to dive in. Until next time, guys, thanks for joining me.